Okay, welcome to today's live class for essential oils. Some of you were able to probably jumping in live, but others of you couldn't make it, and that's fine, but you just signed up anyways because you wanted the recording. So whether you're tuning in live or whether you're tuning in after the fact, watching the recording, welcome. I'm happy you're here. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm new to lives. I don't do them that often. And so please bear with me as I fumble along. And I just want to say thank you for being here, at the beginning. And I do want to apologize because sometimes my internet is not the greatest. I live in the bush, I live in the middle of nowhere. And so if it's lagging or grainy or whatever, I do apologize, but that's basically what I have to work with. We have like one internet provider out here that we can use, so there's not much option. So you just take what you can get. So I want to start out this meeting kind of just explaining what to expect. That way you can jump ahead if you find something that is not of interest to you. So we're going to talk about some questions which I shared in the email that you would have signed up from, and that's our questions of, do essential oils work? What are people going to think of you if you start using them? Are they actually affordable? We're going to talk about the elephant in the room, which is that it is a network marketing company, and the big question of if you have to sell essential oils if you buy them. So, and then at the end, I'll just kind of go through how you can purchase if you so decide. If you decide now's not the time, not a problem either. But if you decide that, you know what, yes, I want to try essential oils, then that information will be at the end, okay? And I will have a link in my email that you will be receiving anyways of how to do that as well. So let's just jump right in so that, this meeting doesn't last too long. So do essential oils work? That is the big thing. I have notes, so if you see me continually looking, that's why. So when essential oils are applied to your skin, your body absorbs the plant's chemicals, and so then it absorbs the medicinal properties that will help you with whatever issue you're dealing with. Inhaling the oils. If you inhale the oils, they can stimulate areas of your brain that affect emotions, that affect behaviors, sense of smell, and long-term memory. So there have been studies on essential oils, and the initial studies on aromatherapy have shown that smell of some essential oils can work as a complementary therapy for things like anxiety and stress. And we'll talk about what exactly complementary means in a minute. So studies have shown that they work for anxiety and stress. Studies have shown positive effects when applying peppermint. I read peppermint and lavender together. So peppermint and lavender oil to the skin. The majority of studies have shown that essential oils offer a positive effect on sleeping, and lavender essential oil has been the one that has been studied the most, which I'm sure you're not surprised. I'm sure you've heard about lavender and the effects that it can have on sleep. My daughter, actually, every night now, she diffuses lavender, and one night she had a rough sleep, and she came to me the next day and said, "Mommy, I didn't sleep well, and then I remembered I didn't diffuse my lavender." So we use it in this house for sure. Now, so those are just a few studies that have shown that they can work. I found some of those studies on the NCBI website, which is the National Center for Biotechnology Information. So if you're interested in looking up yourself on studies, you can go to that. It's the NCBI site. Just Google it, and it'll pop up. But that's pretty encouraging to see that they are being studied and they are being shown that they can work. But what did I mean earlier about complementary? So I like to say that essential oils are a tool in your toolbox, and no one carries around a toolbox with one tool, right? So when you use them, you're often using them in conjunction with other things. And I like to kind of compare it to like when you're sick and you have a flu or a cold, you know, generally you don't do one thing. Like even if you take medication, you don't generally just take the medication. You might rest for a bit. You might have some chicken noodle soup. You might drink some honey and lemon tea. You might take a warm bath with some, you know, Epsom salts. Generally, there's different things that you do to try and heal. And so it's the same with essential oils. It's a tool. They're not miracle workers, but they can work and can be a tool to help you. I love them. They have been so beneficial to my life. And a lot of it has to do with just using it as a tool in conjunction with other healthy choices in your life. So that's what I mean when I mean complementary. I always like to say that I'll never shun modern medicine. It has its place, but if I can use something to ease a symptom here in my home before I have to go to the doctors, or as complementing the medicinal, like whatever I got over the counter, if I desperately needed something like that, then for sure I'm going to use it. That being said, I have not taken over the counter medication very much in a very long time, and it's because of my use of essential oils. But I am going to talk briefly about that a little later. So let's talk about the cost, because, you know, my blog is Simple Life of a Frugal Wife. Clearly, frugality is important to me. I know what it's like to barely make ends meet, and we still continually live frugally. So let's talk about how, because the biggest thing is people say they're expensive. And I mean, I was one of them. But then you dig a little deeper and you discover that maybe they're not as expensive as you thought. So a 15 milliliter bottle of essential oil has 250 drops in a bottle. You generally use a lot of times just a drop at a time or a couple drops. Like if I have a headache, I'm using 1 drop of peppermint oil on my temples. For example, if you are spending $5 on a cleaner, right? Generally they come in that ballpark figure. But if you make your own, you can use like a cup of water, a cup of vinegar, and a few drops of lemon essential oil, for example. And now you've got a whole bottle of cleaner for less than $1. So when you start thinking of it like that, you discover that maybe it's just not quite as expensive as you thought. The other thing, the other side of the coin is that when you start essential oils, you stop buying different products because you're literally replacing them with the essential oils. So I'm just going to go through a list with you quickly of what I no longer buy that I used to buy, 6 months ago. So I no longer buy Vapor Rub, most over-the-counter cleaners. I can't really think of any over-the-counter cleaner I've bought recently. Face moisturizer, perfume, laundry soap, candles. Candles was a big one because I like to buy the little more expensive ones because they're the ones that actually would scent your house, but they're so bad for you, and like I can replace them with something that is non-toxic. And really, like, I'm pretty sure the essential oil, if I use a bottle of oil compared to how long the candle would last, it's pretty comparable anyways. Febreze, I no longer buy. Air fresheners, toothpaste, as well. I no longer buy many of the supplements I used to, and shampoo, but that's another side of the coin. That's obviously not being replaced by the actual essential oil, but doTerra actually sells things beyond the essential oils. But I'm not going to really get into that in this video. If you want to talk to me about it, you can. I will say the supplement, surprisingly, is their #1 seller, which really, surprised me because I didn't even know they sold them. I thought they were only essential oils, but actually tons and tons of people buy these supplements because they love them. And if you want more information, definitely ask me about it. But those are all things I replace. Obviously with those things like face moisturizer and laundry soap and stuff, I'm using other ingredients, but it's more affordable for me to make them than to buy them. The other thing I forgot to mention is the ibuprofen. So ibuprofen was a big one for me, and I used to use a lot of ibuprofen, so much so that I created adverse reactions to my body. I literally would take them almost every day for years because I had migraines and headaches, and I just felt sick all the time. And so I would just take ibuprofen as a mom to cope, and I literally triggered colitis and ended up developing colitis and other negative symptoms. And so it was really important to me that I could get ibuprofen out of my house. Now, it's not technically out of my house because I do have a bottle for like emergency situations, because sometimes, it doesn't matter what you use, you need something a little stronger. But I can tell you in the past 3 months, I've probably used it once, maybe twice, but I don't even think that many times. And that's a big change from using it every day. And it's one of those things where I didn't know till it was too late that taking all that ibuprofen could actually cause other issues in my body. So I was kicking myself after. I wish I could go back and change it, but it is what it is. And I'm managing my symptoms naturally now, and I feel much better. And so those are things I have replaced. So when it comes down to frugality and essential oils, when you start breaking it down, you start to discover that maybe it's not as expensive as you originally thought. So next question is, what will people think of me? What will people think of me? So do you want the truth? The truth is, some people are going to think you're crazy. Some people are going to think, you don't know what you're talking about. And some people are going to think that you never would be the one to give into essential oils. And I can really attest to that because I was pretty resistant to essential oils, and I don't like to admit I'm wrong. So it was really hard for me to admit that I was even using them. But in all seriousness, like, people's opinions of when it comes to your health and big choices like that, I mean, the people who love you and care about you eventually will come around and support you. They might crack a joke or two at the beginning, but they will come around. So you kind of just need to let it go. If that's something you really want to try and you really want to invest in and you want to just take a chance and try the essential oils, just put aside that people might give you I call it the stink eye. People might give you the stink eye. But I mean, the truth is, you don't even have to tell people you're using them at first. You don't even have to tell them. I mean, you never have to tell them, but what happens is you end up using them, you end up liking them, and then you're not so embarrassed to admit it. So I just noticed I have a window and the reflection in my eye, so I am just going to close the blind to help with the reflection on my glasses. There we go. Reflection's still there. I don't know. Okay, well, we'll just go with the reflection. Okay, so that's really what it comes down to when you're thinking about what are people going to think about you. It's a little more difficult if it's your spouse, and sometimes your spouse just needs to come around and see the positive effects of it. That's really what it comes down to. Now, do you have to sell essential oils if you buy through doTerra? Absolutely, absolutely not. There is a very high percentage of people who purchase oils from doTerra who never buy. It's really high. I feel like I'm going to get the number wrong, but like between like 70 and 80%. There are people who just, they choose to buy them. They love the product. And so definitely not. If you're just buying and not selling, there's no monthly order you have to do. There is a points program, and that can require a monthly order, but you don't need to be in the points program. And I think it's just like you just need to buy at least one oil a month. So But that's, again, just the points program. So if you're not even in the points program, if you just want to buy your oils, like you literally just, you can buy one oil, not buy another one for the rest of your life. It's just, it's a very simple program, and you definitely do not need to sell them. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is that it is a network marketing company. I get it. I really do, because I felt the same way. And I feel like network marketing has got a bad rap because of a lot of things in the past, but I do feel like network marketing is not like it was 20 years ago. Many people, for one, are not hounding their friends and family to buy the product that they may be selling. For two, many people are able to just buy the product and not sell it. That wasn't as common with the network marketing companies, 20 years ago, I think. Generally, most people, I think, signed up to sell, and that's not the issue anymore. So, when it came to network marketing, I was getting really curious about doTerra. I was resistant for years, but I was getting curious. And so, I started researching doTerra, and a few things came up. First, before I talk about the good things about doTerra, I'll talk about just how, when I went into the store to buy essential oils, because I did buy them from the store before doTerra, just a few, I ran into problems. One of them was that I bought one and came home and discovered that it was full of fillers. This one thankfully had the extra ingredients on the bottle, so I was aware, but that's not always the case. So I basically, I think the main ingredient was soybean oil, so I basically bought a bottle of soybean oil. So I tossed those out. But the other big thing I noticed is I had bought one from a pretty popular company that a lot of people use, that they buy in the stores and the health stores and whatnot. And on the bottle, what was interesting is it had no instructions of how to use it. And it actually said on the bottle to refer to an essential oils book or a professional essential oil resource. Doesn't tell you what those are or where to go to find them. And like I said, this is a very common, I know lots of people who buy this brand of essential oils. So, if you have no idea how to use them, you have no guidance with buying them off the counter. With network marketing, I mean, my job is to walk alongside you as you're using the oils to help you, as much help as you want. My plan is not to push anyone either if you want to learn on your own, but my goal, my job is that I can help you. And so anytime you have questions, even if it's 10 months down the road since you bought the oil, I mean, that is what I'm here for. And so you don't have that connection with someone when you buy it from a store. So to me, that is a really good thing about network marketing, is you're dealing with people who love the oils, who have been using them for a while, who have learned about them, have tons of resources. I have tons of resources, so I can just refer to my resource if I don't know the answer. We are there to help you, and you can't get that in the store. When it comes to doTerra, the reason I liked it is they do a lot of humanitarian work. And I was really, really happy to discover that. And they also co-impact source their oils. And so what that means is they're buying oils, they harvest the oils in countries around the world. And many of these countries are developing countries. And so they're hiring these people in these developing countries, and they're paying a fair wage. Whereas it's just not as easy to get a fair wage in a lot of these countries. So, and the other reason they do this is they like to harvest their plants. The reason they don't have their own farm, they like to harvest their plants where they grow the best, so that they get the best product possible. And so a plant that might grow well in Guatemala is not going to grow well in the US. And so this is why they go to the different countries and harvest it that way. But again, they are paying fair wages. They're doing humanitarian work in a lot of these same countries. So it's just really exciting to be purchasing from a company that is ethical, right? Because you know how hard it is to find that these days, and we don't always know what we're supporting, and we can be sure that when we buy from doTerra, we're supporting good stuff. So so that's why I personally buy from doTerra. So yeah, so that is kind of the elephant in the room, network marketing. That is basically the main questions. Let me see. Yeah, the main questions that I wanted to answer, but I just want to jump in here and talk briefly about my favorite oils. And I was going to have them all laid out here to show you, but you know, first live and I forgot them. I do have a couple, but I'm just going to go through 4 oils that are pretty common, pretty popular, and just kind of list off some of the things they can help you with. Now, oils are so versatile, so the things I'm listing off, like, it's just a small portion. They do many other things. So let's talk about lemon oil. I do have the bottle. There's the lemon oil. And so for lemon oil, you can rub it on your chest if you're congested. You can diffuse it for congestion. You can use a few drops mixed with water or vinegar to clean your home, which I do all the time. And you can diffuse to improve concentration and mood. And I think it was like a week ago, we've had a really rough winter over here, a winter that just won't quit, and it's been a mostly winter of ice, not as much snow, but a lot of ice. Like, we've never seen this much ice for a winter. And being in the country where there's no plows that come quickly, and it's just been a little trying this year. So I was diffusing my lemon essential oil because I was just like, I need to pick me up. I need spring. I can't have spring. I can at least smell spring. So I definitely had that in my diffuser. And I would say, like, anyone who has many essential oils probably has lemon in their cupboard. So it's a pretty popular one. The other one is lavender, and you've probably heard about that often. Again, great to diffuse for sleep, or you can apply to the bottoms of your feet for sleep. You can apply to burns to help heal. I actually burned myself this morning on my wood stove. I didn't even notice for like 10 minutes until I started to feel it. So I just put some lavender on, and you know, it took the irritation away, so I could get on with my day instead of worrying about my hand hurting. You can apply it to bug bites to help minimize irritation, and it's good for things like anxiety and whatnot. So we definitely use a lot of lavender, and I actually have a blend called Serenity that I like to diffuse at night, and it has lavender in it, so along with some other things. And the blends are amazing too, but you don't need the blends. Like, you can make your own, or you can diffuse just one oil. Peppermint oil is a super important one. I think that everyone should have in their cupboard, and it's great to rub on your temples or behind your ears, or like the back of your neck when you have a headache. It's good for fevers to rub on the back of your neck if you're feeling pretty warm. And you can also inhale it in a diffuser or straight from the bottle to increase alertness. It's good for kind of boosting your energy. And you can apply directly to stiff, intense muscles after a workout, or if you're just feeling sore. And the last oil I want to talk about is eucalyptus, and you can diffuse that one or apply it to your chest to ease congestion, stuffiness, and cough. And here's just a point about essential oils, and you know, when people are wondering if they work. Eucalyptus, that is in, I think it's in Vapor Rub, it's in cough drops, it's in a bunch of products that you can buy over the counter for illness, right? So, you know, clearly it does something if they're putting it in those products, right? So just, you know, perfect example of how these essential oils can work. And eucalyptus was actually one of the first ones I used, and was like, oh my goodness, like, essential oils work. So You can also apply 10 to 15 drops to a bottle of water for a disinfectant around your home. So, you know, at cold season and stuff, you really want to spray that around. And you can also dilute and apply to your outer ear and the bone behind your ear. Now, this is very important. You never want to put essential oils in your ear, okay? There are safety precautions when it comes to essential oils, and in your ear is bad. In your ears and your eyes, that's bad, that's bad. So for eucalyptus, you apply it behind your ear, but never in your ear. And that can help you with an earache. So yes, love eucalyptus. And you can, you know, put a few drops on a cloth in a shower or a bath and stuff, and that's really good when you're sick too. So that is the 4 I want to share with you. Of course, there are lots more. If you ever have questions about a certain oil, feel free to message me. And I can do my best to kind of tell you, or, you know, if you have something that, you know, you're not feeling good about, you're feeling like you're looking for an oil for a certain issue you're dealing with, email me and I can tell you and recommend to you the best oil for that. So I just want to end with just explaining, if you do choose to purchase essential oils, what kind of kits there are out there. Most people do a kit because it is more affordable. So I'm just going to talk about 2 because there are a bunch, but I'm going to talk about 2 that I think fit, you know, my website, which is on the cheaper end, right? I don't pretend to know your financial situation. So if you decide to go into essential oils and you want to go all out, there are other kits, which with the link I send you, you can see. But the first one I'm going to talk about is the one I bought, which is the Aroma Touch. Now, I bought the Aroma Touch because it was the cheapest. That's really what it comes down to. It was what I could afford in my budget. It included the basic essential oils that I could start experimenting with. So it had Balance, Wild Orange, Lavender, Tea Tree, On Guard, Aroma Touch, Deep Blue, and Peppermint. It also included a bottle of fractionated coconut oil, and most importantly, the diffuser. It's called the petal diffuser, and I'll just show you. I have it running right now, so it's steaming, and it's kind of hard to see with my camera, but it's just basic diffuser. It's great because it has a timer, so I can set it at night, and it just goes off by itself, so that's awesome. And so that oil was great, or that kit was great to start out with for me. The only downfall I will say is that it came with the 5 milliliter bottles instead of the 15 milliliter bottles. 15 milliliter bottles for most products is the normal size, but this is like the starter kit, so it came with the smaller ones, whereas the next kit that I will mention to you has a 15 milliliter. So that was the only downfall, but you know what, that was fine for me to start out with. So it is 150 US, or 180 Canadian, and that is a wholesale. And wholesale, I won't go into too much just because if you're interested, I know you can ask me more questions, or that information is through the link. But basically, wholesale, when people hear the word wholesale, they kind of get a little freaked out. I will say that it's nothing different than a Costco membership, basically, you know, or a Sam's Club. Like I said earlier, you're not tied in, you don't have to make a monthly order, you don't have to sell, but buying the wholesale gives you a cheaper price on all the products. So there's a retail price and a wholesale price. So the Aroma Touch is 150 US, or 180 Canadian, and that's wholesale price. If you wanted to go retail, skip the membership, it is $200 US, or 240 Canadian. And I should mention that with the wholesale account, when you buy a kit, when you buy a kit, the wholesale fee is waived. So if you were to just buy a couple oils and you wanted to do wholesale, you need to pay the membership fee, which is 35 US or 42 Canadian. But if you get a kit, not only are you getting the membership fee waived, but you're getting the products for cheaper than if you paid retail. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I did, you know, wholesale, and I bought the kit. So the last one that I'm going to talk about is the Home Essentials kit, and this one is pretty popular. It does have the full size 15 milliliter bottles. I like how I do that, like I know that that's 15 milliliters. I'm totally just guessing. Anyway, so this one has the pedal diffuser, so the same diffuser, and you get with this one frankincense, lavender, tea tree, lemon, oregano, peppermint, breathe, digestion, on guard, and deep blue. The deep blue is actually a 5 milliliter bottle regardless, because that's just how they sell, but the others are all 15 milliliters. This one is $275 US for wholesale price, 330 Canadian. If you were to go retail, it's $366 US or $440 retail. So for me, you know, I was able to pay the 180 Canadian, and that's why I bought the Aroma Touch. It's $150 US, but I personally, my budget wouldn't allow for the 330 Canadian or 275 US. So, but it's definitely worth the value. Like if I could have, I probably would have got that kit. So of course I didn't know how much I would love them either, and I was pleasantly surprised. And so if I could go back now, I would buy the bigger bottles, so I would have more at the beginning. But anyways, it worked. So that's pretty much the end of this live class. I want to thank you for joining me. Again, I'm going to follow up and send you guys the links just so you have them. If you want to use them, you use them. If you don't, then just disregard. The perks of purchasing through my DoTerra link as opposed to just the site, this is a big thing if you want access to the extra resources I put out, any live classes, and just, you know, having me there to answer any questions, you know, so you can email me day and night, access me, message me through Facebook, just basically, you know, and I can send you more resources and information. So that's what you get by signing under my link as opposed to just signing on the site. Yeah, and my job, again, is to answer any questions on your essential oil journey. So all that to say, I'm really glad you came out to my live class. I hope it didn't bore you too much. If you have any questions at all, feel free to message me, any questions whatsoever. If I don't know the answer, I will track down the answer for you. And, you know, like, regardless, even if it's not essential oils, feel free always to send me an email. I love to hear from my readers and to kind of build that sense of community. And so I just thank you for being a part of the community at Simple Life of a Frugal Wife. And yeah, again, if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. And that's just about it. So thank you all. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I hope that we'll see each other again on another live class.